Hi everybody, my name is Brandon Witt and I want to thank you for joining me, and thank you Love Bytes for letting me be on your blog today. I'm going to do a thing I've never done before, which is a little reading on camera and see how that goes. I thought it'd be fun to read by the fireplace, so real and warm you can probably hear the electric buzz behind me. Make do with what we got, right? Anyway, I have a new release out, The Imperfection of Swans. And so I'm going to read to you one of my favorite scenes, at least one of the most fun scenes to write that I had in this book. In the book, Kevin and Casper are opening a wedding cake combo. And right before this scene, Kevin has broken up with his ex-husband for the second time and is kind of depressed. And Casper comes up with this idea that he thinks will help cheer Kevin up. Casper already has feelings for Kevin, and Kevin might already have feelings for Casper, but this was Casper's idea to see if Kevin will loosen up a little bit. He plans on taking him to a wedding dress store and having them try on wedding gowns, but Kevin doesn't know this yet. Anyway, the book is The Imperfection of Swans, and here we go. Actually, before I start, I should give the disclaimer that sometimes when I'm reading out loud, my old Southern Missouri accent seeps back in, so I apologize for that in advance. The book is based in Boston, not in hillbilly land, but, you know, I am what I am. The pretty salesgirl of Dream Day Bridal stared at them like Casper had just asked her if she wanted to watch gay porn with them. I'm not sure I understand. I think you do, Annie. Casper motioned back to Kevin, who was the brightest shade of red of any human in the world. My fiancé and I are both going to wear gowns at our wedding. It's a political statement, and it will be pretty. Annie looked behind her, as if salvation were hidden in a back room. Casper hadn't seen anyone else, so he figured she was alone on this one. We, don't sell men's wedding dresses. He channeled Kevin's withering look, and though he couldn't see himself, he felt like he nailed it. I don't think anyone carries men's wedding dresses. They're just called wedding dresses, and we'd like to try some on. The poor girl was sweating. Well, what if someone comes in and wants to try on a dress too? Oh, Annie, I know we look too fabulous to be willing to share, but we will. He grinned toothfully at her. Did it make him evil that he was enjoying this so much? It's sweet of you to want to give us a celebrity treatment and offer us the entire store. She looked close to tears. Casper called back to Kevin without looking away from Annie. Sweetheart, would you make sure to get a picture of the outside of the store to put on Facebook? It looks like the wedding dress shops who refuse the gays are the next wedding industry to face legal action. Apparently it's not just bakers who won't participate in wedding events. There was a tear. Definitely a tear. And panic. There was definitely panic. No, we'd love to participate in gay weddings. Casper leaned on the counter. They're just called weddings, Annie dear. After she motioned them back into the showroom, Annie rushed to the window and flipped open the open sign. Casper noticed she forgot to lock the door. He decided not to be helpful and kept his mouth shut. Holy crap! Casper gaped as Kevin stepped out of the dressing room, clad in a lacy gown that had fabric roses clustered over the right of his bodice and swooped down over his left hip. He was sure there was a name for that, but he had no idea. You actually look amazing. Kevin stepped onto the pedestal and looked at himself in the mirror. He tilted his chin appraisingly. I kinda do. A lot better than the last one. The jewel neckline is much better on me than the sweetheart. Casper didn't know what that meant, but he had to smother a laugh at how much Kevin was enjoying himself. When Kevin bent down and lifted the layers beneath the skirting, revealing a glittering pair of silver high heels, Casper couldn't hold back. Kevin glared at him in the mirror. Laugh all you want. You can't get the full effect without the shoes. Granted, these are a little more garish than I would have recommended, but they were the only pair that fit. You look stunning, my dear. Even as he struggled to stop laughing, his heart sank a bit. It definitely wasn't just his cock-causing problems. There was no more plausible deniability. Watching that gorgeous man try on wedding gown after wedding gown, searching for the perfect one, and then that beautiful smile when he found it, Casper hadn't expected Kevin to go along with it as easily as he had, not to really let loose, and just go for it. But he had. And he'd ruined Casper's heart in the process. Actually, this gown wouldn't even need much altering. Annie stepped up beside Kevin and addressed his mirrored reflection. She pinched the fabric at the back of Kevin's shoulder blades. We didn't even need to use the clamps on this one. After a bit, Annie had seemed to have forgotten who her clients were and slipped into her role as bridal stylist. Casper moved toward the wedding room. Casper moved toward the dressing room that he'd been using. He'd only tried on 2 gowns, and they were both uncomfortable. This one kept snagging at his chest hair. Miss, can you please lift the hem of your skirt when you walk? It's better for the gown. Kevin's burst of laughter filled the quiet space. Casper looked over his shoulder and cocked an eyebrow at Annie. She flushed, a hand rising to her lips. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, sir. Not responding, Casper dipped down dramatically and lifted the hem before continuing to the wedding dress room. It doesn't say wedding dress room, I just keep saying that. I don't know why. Continuing to the dressing room. He couldn't suppress a smile. Wedding dresses were horrifically uncomfortable, but they were fun. After changing into his jeans and a t-shirt, Casper took a seat on the love seat next to the pedestal Kevin was using. Kevin had changed into another dress. It seemed a Sabrina neckline was also flattering on his body type. Casper wondered if he learned anything at the wedding store in New York. He didn't remember necklines having names. Just as Annie was fastening a veil into Kevin's hair, which was an impressive skill considering his hair length, the door chimed. All 3 of them looked toward the front door. We noticed your close sign, but it's still business hours, so we thought... A group of 4 young women stepped in, all stopping dead in their tracks as they saw Kevin in all of his wedding dress glory. For the first time in over an hour, Annie seemed to remember that she'd originally been uncomfortable with this. Oh, ladies, please just wait outside. Her voice trailed off, and she looked at Kevin's reflection in the mirror once more. Casper could actually see some switch in her flip. She lifted her chin as she turned back to the ladies. If you'll give me a few more minutes with this client, I need to get him a handbag, and I'll be right with you. It was another hour and a half later. The sun deepened the western horizon before Casper was rejoined by a Kevin, clad in typical masculine clothing. Casper had thought he'd seen Kevin in all his glory when it had been just the 3 of them. But it had been nothing compared to him trying on more gowns alongside the actual bride-to-be. Casper ended up waiting by the receptionist's desk, just watching Kevin and the 5 women completely get lost in the thrill of wedding day preparation. When they got into the car to return to Boston proper, Kevin was positively glowing. That was awesome! Such a great idea! He beamed at Casper. And I think we should do it some more. You want to go try on more wedding dresses? Casper was a little surprised when Kevin shook his head. No, that was fun, but once was enough. Probably. I think we should have the women we know go wedding dress shopping at the stores around. Really scout everything out. Find out what they like that the other stores are doing and what we should do better. Pretty brilliant. I think that's a great idea. You're kind of smart there. Well, here's another one. Once we get ready to open, I'm going to come back here and offer Annie a job. She was awesome. Really knows her stuff, and that girl, she can upsell. If you come in here looking for a dress, she's going to make sure you leave with the gown, shoes, bag, jewelry, hairpiece, everything. She even bought out satin insoles so that my feet could feel like they had their own wedding gown. Casper cast a sideways glance at Kevin. What? Her words, not mine. So there you have Kevin and Casper trying on wedding dresses. Pretty ridiculous. But pretty fun to write. And would probably be kind of fun to do. I don't know. I did a lot of research for this book, including a couple days at a wedding gown store, but I didn't try any on. I might have missed the mark on that one. Anyway, thanks so much for listening to the reading. Please check out my book. It's on Amazon, Dream Spinner, all those places. And let me know what you think. Bye for now.